but I am more than my dress. And you know, sometimes living in this lookish society, I tend to forget that I am more than my dress, more than the way I appear, more than my body. The gorgeous and free-spirited Lisa Haydon says, and I quote, "The important thing to realize is that your body is a natural thing. It's not a sinful thing. It's not a vulgar thing. It's not even a sensuous thing. It's just your body." And yet she has a body that I can't stop looking at, and I am sorry to say this, because I know there is a lot more that lies beneath. And yet when I talk to someone like her, I need reminding of that. And that is shameful, that is embarrassing, and that is the conditioning that needs to break. So Lisa Haydon is here to do a show and tell so that we never forget that she is so much more than her dress.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Thank you, Kelly, for that introduction. Coel, sorry. I get the two of you mixed up. You're both so beautiful. I'm Lisa Haydon, and you probably all know me as a model, and that's because I am one. You probably think that you're not very used to seeing me wearing a tuxedo, a suit, and you might think I'm putting on an act, and that's because I'm also an actress. But the truth is, I came here wearing this suit today because I feel beautiful in it. It makes me feel strong and powerful and appropriate to stand here and give this talk to some of the most intelligent people in the country. For example, you, ma'am, did you put that outfit especially on for today? No, you didn't? So you wear that when you're at home, cooking in the kitchen? No, exactly. Or you, sir, did you put that suit on especially for today? Of course, like I did as well. The reason we've all dressed for this occasion is because our outfits are very strong indicators of who we are, not just to other people, but also to ourselves. There's a great quote from a thinker and artist named Desmond Morris, and he says, "It is impossible to wear clothes without transmitting social signals. Every costume tells a story, often a very subtle one, about its wearer." So, when I was 18 years old, I went for my first model audition. And before I went for my audition, I didn't know what models wore to be perceived as models, so I decided to reference fashion magazines. And it turns out that models wear, where is my AV, by the way, my pictures? It turns out that models wear, there they are, very strange, wonderful, and interesting looking things. So I decided to wear something a little bit simpler than I'm wearing in that photograph. I went for a simple top and a pair of jeans. When I was 18 years old, I was working in a steakhouse, and one of the waitresses that I worked with suggested that I should start modeling. So I went to see her agency on her recommendation. And what I realized is that models do not look like this. That's me at 18. That's my first modeling shot, by the way. Thank you. They look like this. There you go. I wasn't quite as blonde or blue-eyed. But in any case, oh, actually the thing that was most astounding was not that I was not blonde or blue-eyed, because that I knew, but it was the fact that they told me to lose 5 kilos. And I had spent most of my life trying to put on 5 kilos, and if anyone was in school that was underweight, I'm sure you'll know that being underweight and being skinny and being made fun of for being skinny can be as complexing as being overweight. So when I finally hit my teen years and I started to fill out, I really liked the way that I looked, and I was happy to finally put on weight. So it was fine. I went and lost the 5 kilos because it was so easy to do. And I went on to be a very successful TV commercial and advertising model in Australia. But if I ever failed at being blonde or blue-eyed when I was in Australia, all of that went straight out the window the minute I came to India. The first audition I went on in India was to see Taran Teliani, and to Taran Teliani, and any designer even close to his caliber. I was tall, I was thin, I was raven, and I was already a supermodel. So, these are my pictures from when I was modeling in India. Now, people often think that modeling is a very glamorous profession, and I don't blame them for thinking that, because all they see is that one perfect photograph. But in order to achieve that one perfect photograph, you have to take a few hundred different photographs, and sometimes to the people standing in the room watching you, and even to yourself, it feels and looks like a very repetitive and clumsy endeavor. I've actually had people make videos of me while I've been modeling, maybe because I thought one day I'd give a talk to a crowd of people like you. And I can't think of any other reason. It would just be vanity to make someone stand there and video me. I made a video, so this is the best one that I could find, and here's what it looks like. So there you have it. This picture right here, thank you. This picture right here was specifically engineered to make you believe that Sushant Singh Rajput and I are distressed lovers, and we are walking down a flight of stairs outside Falaknuma Palace in Hyderabad. And the brief was, Lisa, stand on your spot and walk down this flight of stairs. So if I demonstrate how it went something like this. I'm just going to take on the being of a model right now. So do I have to stay in the middle? Okay. So here's the stair, and I was told to stay on my spot because the lights are here and the cameraman is right there and you can't move out of frame. So walk down one step, flick your hair, walk back up, flick your hair, walk back down, flick your hair, walk back up, flick your hair. And this could go on about maybe 100 times. Anyway, I made a video of this as well, just so you can see what it looks like if you don't believe me. It's not a very good quality video. I had to have my makeup artist take it for me. So as you can see, the final product of this beautiful black and white shot that I showed you earlier had very little to do with what was actually happening in the moment. It was all make-believe. It had more to do with the cameraman, the lighting, the hair, the makeup, the clothes, and had very little to do with Sushant Singh and I actually being lovers or even walking down a flight of stairs. My first ad that I ever did was for a stretch mark cream, and this is what stretch marks actually look like. There they are, just in case any of us forgot. And when the ad came out, it had my 18-year-old, tight, taut, rather muscular stomach on the cover of the ad as an example of what you could look like if you used this stretch mark cream. That's me. I use stretch mark cream. So, I don't. So, anyway, I was in India and I was rocking out, and these were the fashion headlines in that day. Lisa Haydon, fashion's new it girl. So I had no reason to go anywhere. But around that time, a very important film released, a very important film for India. It was called Slumdog Millionaire. And there was a modeling scout in town. He happened to pick up that month's issue of Vogue, and he opened it, and he found my pictures inside. He went to the credits page and saw my name, and then he saw my agency, Elite Model Management, and he rang them up, and within a month, I was flown to New York. New York was great. I was right on time and considered exotic, which worked very well for me. I was there for about 4 months, but something else also happened while I was over there. I got offered my first film, Aisha. So it wasn't something that I had planned or looked for or even auditioned for. It just came to me and I said yes because I didn't want to miss out on a good opportunity. Now people always ask me, what is the main difference between being a model and being an actor? And the first thing that I have noticed is the fact that people are a lot quicker to judge you. So I'm going to go ahead and put my jacket back on because I took it off to demonstrate what models look like and how my perception can very easily be changed from very formal to very glamorous. And the second thing I noticed is that, I mean, of course you have to put a lot more emotionally in when you're doing a film. You have to spend longer time away from home. Your work commitments are greater. But the thing that hit me the first was the fact that I could eat more. All of my attributes as a model were then considered my drawbacks as an actress. I was too tall, I was too raven, I was too thin. I was told to put back on the 5 kilos that I was told 6 years earlier to lose, and so I did so very happily. And then I got to play Vijay Lakshmi. Eventually, I got around to playing her. We realized when we were shooting for Queen that some actresses in some very successful films had played a very similar character. But we wanted to do it differently. We decided that Vijay Lakshmi would live her life without any apologies whatsoever. And it was a very risky thing to do because she wasn't completely traditional or normal. She was a very different and very wild girl. But what I realized in doing that is the fact that Indian society and Indian cinema at large are willing to accept all different kinds of beauty. And here's another example. When I moved back to India 7 years ago, I wanted to land 2 big modeling assignments. One was to be on the cover of a top fashion magazine, and the second one was to be the face of Lakme. And I told my mom both of these things, and she confided this information to a very close friend of ours who worked in the fashion business. And this friend said, Lisa should not get her hopes up because these 2 modeling assignments only take fair girls. That to me was very discouraging because quite frankly there is nothing that I can do about my skin color, just like there isn't anything that anyone can do about their noses or their breasts or their hips or their stomachs or their thighs without going under the knife. We have to accept that there are certain things that we're born with and we need to work with it. And I'm not complaining because I realize that I'm privy to a very, very, very generous gene pool. And to the outside, it may appear to people that I earn a living off of the way that I look solely and wholly. Hopefully I'm standing here to prove that wrong. But I have to say that in spite of this lack of fair skin, I went on to be on the cover of that magazine 6 times, and Lakme was one of the first contracts that I signed when I came to the country. So as you can see, there is no fixed idea of beauty. Let's take a look at some of our most celebrated heroines of the last few years. Here we go. In 2011, Silk was overweight, sensual, impulsive, and strong-headed, and that was beautiful. In 2012, in Kahani, Mrs. Bagchi was relentless and powerful, and that was beautiful. In 2013, Leela was strong-willed, disobedient, and adventurous, and that was beautiful. And in 2014, Rani made us feel like it was okay to stuff our faces, to not know how to kiss, to not be very well-traveled, to not be very worldly wise, and she reminded us of our most clumsy, insignificant selves, and we all found that endearing and beautiful. What makes these women beautiful is the life and the charisma, the persona that they fill out their characters with. And I've always firmly believed that if we are authentic to ourselves in whatever role that it is that we play in life, even if it's too original or too different or too radical, people will eventually celebrate that. At the Oscars this year, they created a hashtag called Ask Her More. These women wanted to be asked more about just the dresses that they were wearing and who designed them. They wanted to be asked about the roles that they play, about the causes that they support. And they urged journalists to ask them more and to get beneath all of those superficial layers. Beauty doesn't really have a race, a culture, even a gender. There's no common denominator for beauty. It's differing from continent to continent and from culture to culture, and it will continue to evolve and change, and our perceptions will continue to evolve and change as long as we redefine it for ourselves. So I stand here and I urge all of you to not let your perceptions get the better of your opinions and the better of your judgment. We are more than what we wear, and even though we like putting on a special outfit, like I have today for a special occasion, remember that so have you. But what's more important is what lies beneath. Thank you.
Thank you. That was quite fantastic.
Was it?
And such a treat to actually watch you talk and not just stand there and do the steps up and step down and steps up and step down. Now, you are quite uninhibited with your body. Can you give us, all of us here, men and women, a couple of tips that can help us with body confidence?
I think one of the main things that helped me with body confidence growing up was exercise and dance and body movement. I think growing up in a place where already it was a very natural and normal thing to go to the beach and wear a swimsuit and or to go play volleyball or to play soccer or to dance or be in ballet wearing a leotard. All of those things, I think, help you to realize that your body is a tool to help you do things in life. It's not something to be looked at or to be covered or to be ashamed of, because it's your tool for being healthy and for taking you places and for doing all these wonderful different things. So I think, yeah, exercise.
Let's say you were fat and ugly. Would you feel the same way? Would you be as uninhibited? And don't say there isn't such a thing. There is such a thing as fat and ugly. Sorry.
Is there? Look, I think fat and ugly is not the way you look. It's more a feeling.
Okay.
Can I say that?
You can say anything you want. Yeah.
Fat and ugly is a feeling. So I think if you're doing your very best to be healthy and to exercise and to live a wholesome life, then the way that you feel about yourself also changes. I mean, if you're feeling particularly fat, and I know, and this is going to sound crazy, but there are some days when I feel fat, and I think every woman has the right to feel fat. Fat is the way that you feel inside of yourself when you've eaten unhealthy food or you've done unhealthy things. Do you know what I'm talking about? Please agree with me.
Of course I know what you're talking about.
And she's not fat at all, right? So I think, what was the question again?
Would you be as uninhibited?
No, would I? No, so I think if you're doing things that make you feel good, then I think that that's really the way to live. As uninhibited, maybe I may not wear the same clothes, but I would still wear something that looks beautiful on me that I felt confident wearing. And if I felt confident to wear something, even if I was feeling fat and ugly, then, I mean, when I feel fat and ugly, I don't want to, dress up. I want to stay home and go to the spa.
Moving away from just, the, not superficial, but the body, we have a lot of prominent public figures now coming out and saying things like women in our society can only be safe if they stay home after dark, if they cover up from head to toe. What would you have to say to them, and what would you do if you had your way to the violators?
I think it's really inappropriate to say that women should just stay home, because I think women feel empowered by going to work, and that is our self-value, is, contributing something to the world, to society, whether it's being a mother or cooking a great meal or having an amazing job or doing what you're doing today. So I don't think that it's right to de-empower women by telling them to stay home, even though that is empowering to some people. But I think the world is coming to a point now where, are we coming to a point where we're more accepting of women? I mean, this room has, what, maybe 30% women in it, 20% women in it.
But we are such a small percentage of society, you know. We are the privileged percentage of society.
We are. I mean, in India, the ratio of men to women is astounding in any case, so should we just blame it on that? No,
what would you do to violate it? I mean, if you could, what would be your solution for...
I feel a bit Gandhi about it all. I don't know if I would fight fire with fire, but I just think that humility and just going out there and being elegant and graceful and succeeding in the workplace and showing people that we are worth something and we can do something. And I mean, there's a difference when it comes down to rapists and stuff like that, and that's a whole different scenario of disrespect for women, and I don't think that those kinds of people should be walking the streets. But when it comes to just, you know, flexing our muscles and showing society at large that we are worth something and we can do something, I think the best way to do is actions speak louder than words.
I'm going to open it up.
And words will follow actions.
I'm going to open it up quickly, so raise your hands, whoever wants to ask a question.
Thank you.
Hear you. You mentioned that not being so fair was not a disadvantage to you. But believe me, in India, if we are looking for a bride for a child, the first thing we ask is she fair? Is the bride to be fair? Now, how do you change that perception? You were successful because you are beautiful overall, whatever it may be.
Whatever. No, but thanks.
I mean it. No, but how do we change this perception? It's very important because most of our children are not so fair, and they may not get married to good boys because they are not so fair. How do you change that perception?
I think it's really individual responsibility. Like, for example, my first picture was of how I wasn't blonde and I wasn't blue-eyed. But then I went on to say that I, in any case, went on to be successful modeling in Australia. So I think it's up to you. It's about being individual. Maybe your daughter should, or your daughters or our children should break out of that, that sort of rut of I actually am about to say something very undiplomatic right now.
Go on, say it.
Of seeking a husband that would think that about them. Perhaps they should go out there and find a husband for themselves that doesn't care what their skin color is. I mean, this is going to sound really arrogant right now, but I've had a few boyfriends in my life, and most of them have all wanted to marry me. And it's not because I have dark skin or I have fair skin. I think it's about who you are inside. And the entire point of my talk was that in spite of all these setbacks, when I go to an audition and I'm sitting with the head of any big corporation, whether it's Lakme or Pantene or Puma, who I endorse for, it's about the way that you come across to them and you show them your value in that moment goes far beyond the way you look. You radiate something far more from the inside out. And that's probably what I would have to say to your children is to be original and just be yourself.
But also she has broken that to a certain extent by being successful. Now we consider Dusky beautiful.
Completely.
So, there we go.
Yeah.
Last question. Yes, at the back there. It's working, it's working.
Yeah. Hi. So
Hi.
I'm an 18-year-old right now.
Ah!
So I was wondering, like you said, you have to have a lot of confidence. But at any point of time in your life, have you felt inadequate? And physically, emotionally, whatever. But like right now, you're a really strong woman standing there. But it
Right.
must have taken a lot of things to actually grow into that. So if you ever felt inadequate, how have you dealt with it?
I think it's a very natural and normal thing to feel inadequate, and I think on a daily basis I do feel that way at some point in the day. But I think the best way to deal with it is, it's okay to feel that way, accept that about yourself. Before I come out and I stand on the stage, I have a moment where I also feel very inadequate, and I go, oh my God, I don't know how to public speak, and I've not done this before, etc., etc. Then you just turn the actress on, or you have to try at least a little bit. So I think just don't try and get rid of that inadequate feeling, because that's a part of humanity and that's a part of who you are. But just know that it will pass, and constantly remind yourself of all of the wonderful things that you do have to offer the world. Like, I don't think there's anyone else in this room that's 18 years old that has the courage to ask a question on a microphone. I think you're pretty adequate right now. And you've obviously earned your place in this room as well, because you've got a name tag on, so you're somebody important, aren't you? So
Just as Lisa said, just before she started and I met her, she was really nervous because this is not something that you do on a normal basis.
No,
And
yes.
she was like, okay, I got to work getting over this, and you worked through it.
yeah,
Right?
yeah, in some way, hopefully.
Thank you very much. A big round of applause for Lisa Haydon.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa.